The next one is Valerie. Valerie Campbell here? She's not yet. She's not here yet. Joanne MacGregor. Yeah. Welcome, Joanne. So, Joanne, you know the rules. You've got 5 minutes. Generally, we keep to it.
Do my best.
So, welcome, and we're completely in your hands, and you can use the 5 minutes however you want. We've got your stuff.
You got my head?
Yep.
Okay. Go?
Yep, go for it.
So, thank you for this opportunity. My name's Joanne MacGregor. I believe I offer a perspective of a long-term resident and ratepayer, a property owner, a business owner. We've operated and based our construction business here in Christchurch for over 25 years, and we've employed many Christchurch residents over that time, and I'm a mother. Your long-term plan indicates ongoing operating costs of around $450 million a year and $4.67 billion over 10 years in capital expenditure, which is mostly in addition to the $2.8 billion that you've previously included in the 2013 plan. I found it difficult to understand whether the figures in your capital program included or excluded insurance proceeds, but I've assumed they're totals and they included the anticipated funds from your insurance claims. Your long-term plan anticipates significant rates increases, where average rates will almost double over the next 10 years, significant additional borrowing and releasing capital by selling assets. I agree all those options should be considered for funding your plan, and maybe a modest one-off levy of all ratepayers is another option you should be considering. I think doubling annual rates in 10 years seems excessive and unnecessarily tough on ratepayers. I support some asset sales, particularly prioritising those asset sales that will achieve more than simply realising cash for the council and the city, sales that provide more investment in Christchurch, better returns, higher employment. I don't believe our Orion shares should be sold. You get good dividends from Orion and you should hang on to them. The big picture view of your spending, though, that's laid out by the long-term plan seems to be based on the presumption that as council you can charge more rates, which means greater revenues and therefore more that you can borrow. That currently interest rates are relatively low doesn't help that scenario really at all. Low interest rates, council can borrow even more. Problem solved. Please don't lose sight of the actual amount of debt and the actual amount of assets that you're contemplating to sell. I find the amount staggering. The spending that the long-term plan requires for funding is excessive. I think it reflects the desires of a large bureaucratic and operational organisation, not really the desires of the community. And the amounts of spending are unprecedented, and they all should be questioned by yourselves as councillors. Please just slow down. There are so many uncertainties for you all. Will the value of the assets be realised as you've anticipated? What are the final amounts for insurance payouts on settlements? Will your interest rates remain at low levels in the long term? Over the 10 years of the plan, have you adequately provided for the possibility of an economic downturn? The final costs of your obligations to SCURS aren't finally known. The increased capital and operational costs of your cost-sharing arrangements with the Crown are only estimated. Growth may not be assumed, rates and revenues not as predicted. Will your capital projects be delivered on budget? Why is the council planning to contract major building projects over the next 2-3 years in the peak of the rebuild activity when the cost uncertainty will be at its highest? I don't believe the long-term plan describes spending in the wisest way and for the best outcomes for Christchurch. You don't have the resources of the New Zealand Government at your disposal to assist with managing all these uncertainties. You need to take a more measured approach, scale back your borrowings, your spending, your asset sales and your rates increases. You've got the opportunity to be smart. Past councils have been really smart and delivered fantastic things for Christchurch. Your circumstances are more difficult, But as today's council, you can continue the legacy of being very smart and very astute. Just slow down. Take a long-term view of your planning. Many of the new facilities you've provided for us over the past 10 to 15 years are fine and operating. The large budgets to retain or replace older facilities like the Town Hall, the Metro Sports and the Eastern Aquatic Facility to replace QE2, the Central Library, the replacement, and more spending at the Art Gallery in Christchurch South, all in the first quarter of the long-term plan, seem like rushing into those projects. Defer the spending into the second or third quarter of the long-term plan at the very least. Explore all the options. What spending is truly necessary? The long-term plan expects that community facilities are going to be repaired or rebuilt using insurance proceeds. Why are you not taking the same approach with these larger projects? Shouldn't those advocating for the larger projects be more accountable for their spending? A more measured and careful approach can be taken. Defer all the major community facilities projects in your financial strategy till the second or third quarter. Defer the rebuild of AMI Stadium indefinitely. Cap the spending on improvements to major community facilities at $100 million over and above your insurance proceeds. Save $400 million. If that's not possible, don't go ahead with all the major community facility projects. Accept the insurance settlements in lieu of repairing and improving the projects. For the projects that do go ahead, you'll get the best offers from insurers by carrying out your repairs separately to improvements. Do that. Defer all your spending defined as increased levels of service over and above spending that's described in your plan as committed, core and growth. And make further savings from that to your capital spending and operational spending. Because we're in construction, I have got a knowledge about the different contracts that are out there at the moment.
Joanne, you need to wind it up. We've gone a long way over time. So
sorry.
Just if you could just
say the
last
one
couple of
paragraph.
sentences. Yeah.
About the contracts that are out there for building projects. I think Council, you've had some pretty valuable experience over the years with building contracts. You've made the most of the capabilities of local contractors and nationwide contractors, and I think there's a lot of experience here at Council that you should make the most of, and you could get some very good value out of that experience. I'll talk about that as well if you like. But
okay, thank you very much indeed. It's a very unusual mix of skills. So thank you very much indeed for coming in.